Welcome everyone, thanks for joining us. Another great webinar coming up, and I'm going to throw to Lucinda Judd, who's going to take us through a bit of an introduction.
Lovely, thanks so much, Pat. I hope you're all doing well today. Thanks so much for jumping onto our webinar this morning. It's our introduction to CreditorWatch Collect, and we're very excited to have you all online. A few housekeeping points before I introduce our speakers properly. Obviously, you've met Pat, but introduce both of our speakers and then also fully get started. Firstly, with any questions that you have along the course of the webinar, feel free to pop these up as we go along. You'll notice a little Q&A pop up at the bottom of your screen. So we'll answer these as and when they do come up or towards the end of the session, just depending on time. Following the webinar, we'll also make any of our presentation and supporting documents available to you, should you wish to refer back to these after the session. We'll ask a few poll questions throughout the course of the webinar, and look, we'd really appreciate if you do give us some feedback and input on these. It just helps us to better understand our customers and then tailor any future webinars based on your needs and requirements. At the end, we'll finish up with a poll question. Let us know if you'd like to be contacted following our webinar today. Just answer yes, no, or you'd like to see a brochure. Now let's get to the introductions. My name is Lucinda Judd. I'm the trade specialist at CreditorWatch, and I'm joined today by Patrick Coughlin, CreditorWatch CEO, and also Matt McFredries, the head of CreditorWatch Collect.
Thanks, Lucy. Good to be here.
G'day, everyone.
Thanks so much, and Matt. Now for today's webinar content, as you may be aware, we've recently launched the automated collections tool, CreditWatch Collect, and this is going to help businesses get paid faster, efficiently. During our webinar today, we'll cover off a few key points. So the challenges with collections to date, the value in automating your collections. We'll explain what CreditWatch Collect is, and then also we'll have Matt run us through the system itself so we can see it in action. And then at the end, we'll also wrap up with a Q&A if we do have time to cover off those questions that you've all submitted throughout our session today. But let's jump in to a bit of a high-level overview of CreditorWatch, what we do, what we're here to offer you guys. We have the largest commercial credit customer base in Australia with over 55,000 customers and counting. About 90% of our users are actually using us exclusively, which is massive. This means that our users are contributing and accessing this information that is unique to them, to us. And to put into context, we actually are generating 35,000 payment defaults annually, and then also about 18.5 million credit scores monthly. So really predictive insights coming through for our users. But I think to give us a bit of a lay of the land, Pat, can we get you to explain what CreditorWatch does, what our product suite looks like, and more importantly, what our mission is moving forward?
Yeah, thank you. And look, CreditorWatch from day one has always been about providing solutions to help businesses get paid faster. And that's obviously expanded over the last sort of 12 and a half years. I think I'm coming up to 13 years in August. But really the ethos of what we're trying to do remains the same. We've just expanded into, what you can see here is three sort of core pillars of support. One, or onboarding a customer, whether that's through an online application or just ensuring that you actually identify, verify, and run a credit check on a company before you do business with them. Of course, the ongoing monitoring and alerts that we provide on a daily basis, really important, particularly in today's economic conditions. You want to know that your customers are trading well themselves, paying their bills elsewhere, and if they don't, we obviously want to provide that alert to you so you can be a bit more proactive. And the missing piece from us, for us, has always been around automating the collections. We see ourselves as both a data and a technology company. So we provide the software that allows you to manage your accounts receivables, but also the data is intrinsically linked with that as well. So the collections piece has been something that we've spoken about for a long time. We've been inundated with clients every time we run a survey. What would you like to see? It's always been how can you help us with our collections? And for us, it was about automating that, of course, not doing the physical debt collection itself. And it's great to have been able to acquire a fantastic company, which is now CreditWatch Collect. But importantly, there was an instant connection with Matt McFredries and the rest of over there, which is obviously really important, that cultural alignment for anyone that's dealt with people at CreditorWatch, been involved in any events, or just spoken with people at the organisation. Culture is extremely important for us and one priority. So having that alignment was incredibly important. Now, we obviously help businesses of all different sizes, from sole traders all the way up to some of the biggest public companies in Australia. And I've already spoken about the fact that we're all about providing a solution for the customer lifecycle: onboard, ongoing management, monitoring, support, and then of course the end of the relationship, or not the end of the relationship, the end part of the relationship, which is ultimately collecting payment from them. And Collect is really providing that automated AR solution, right? Where you can onboard a client automatically through Apply Easy, for example. You can collect from them with CreditorWatch Collect in an automated fashion. The economy's turning, cash has never been more important, and also efficiency within the business is incredibly important as well. There's so many different risk factors that are of course hitting Australia at one time, in terms of labour shortages, inflation, increasing interest rates, but also material, the cost of materials changing significantly in plenty of different industries. So regardless of whether the economy is doing well or not, if you can automate processes within your business, it's a no-brainer. And I think AR is a key one. Accounts receivable is a key one, because we want to be able to get money from companies that want to pay sooner, and then where there's the human element required from your credit team, your collection team internally, they can then focus on either those more difficult customers, those edge cases, those hardship cases, or providing an even better customer experience for your customers as well. So we're all about automating, we're all about technology and data, and CreditorWatch Collect brings all of that together. So regardless of whether you're running a small business, you've got a team of finance, credit specialists, AR specialists, collectors in-house, etc. CreditorWatch Collect is certainly the sort of solution that can solve a lot of issues, free up their time to have a bigger impact on the customer. And of course, the most important thing is get more cash in the door. So I'm really excited about Collect. It's been in place, almost soft launched, for probably about 4 or 5 months now. Matt has come over as obviously the founder and the CEO, and is running that product within CreditorWatch now, and he is flat out at the moment doing demos and onboarding customers, which is great. So we're probably 6 months ahead from a pipeline perspective of where we expected to be when we first brought the team into the CreditorWatch family. So really exciting times, and encourage everyone obviously to get in touch if you want more information. But you're going to get a fantastic demo today from Matt, and really well supported by Lucy. So thank you, Lucy. Back to you.
Lovely, thanks, Pat. We're definitely keeping Matt busy, but yeah, really excited to see how CreditorWatch Collect can unlock cash and ease up time for our customer base. It's going to be a great change. What I'm going to do now, though, is actually throw this over to the audience. If you'd like to get involved, we just want to pop up a quick poll question, get a better understanding of which accounting tools we're using at the moment. Just give you all a few moments to respond to that one. Lovely, I think that's probably enough time. We'll move along though. I guess a good thing for us to get into now is actually to take a bit of a deeper dive into the challenges being faced by small businesses and busy finance teams. As Pat mentioned earlier, obviously businesses that do have those automated AR solutions in place, they do have a greater chance of avoiding default, overcoming the tricky economy that we're in at the moment. However, the research shows, and the stats in front of us show, that about 49% of businesses are still relying on manual processes. So whether that be spreadsheets or outlooks, they're the main tools used currently. And we also see that about 27% of businesses say that cash flow was the cause of extreme or a lot of pressure. So that's really not nice to hear, that stress is being caused by cash flow and things like that can be avoided. And that also 67% that are using those manual processes, it's taking 67% longer for them to follow up on those late payments. So and clear challenges being faced by businesses at the moment, causing stress and taking up extra time. I guess, Matt, on this, you co-founded and built the product that we now call CreditorWatch Collect. What were some of those key problems that you saw needed solving, or the pain points that you saw needed solving?
Yeah, thanks, Lucy. I'll approach this from two perspectives, because we really help two kinds of audiences. One is the small businesses, and then the other is the finance and the credit teams. So I'll first take a look at the small business challenge. And I've created and run a couple of businesses myself, and I know firsthand how important cash is. I know what it's like to send out invoices and not have them paid, and struggle to find time and motivation sometimes to chase them up. It's just one of those tasks that goes to the bottom of the list. And I talk to so many businesses just every year that I'm in this industry. There's ma and pa operators, a couple of directors in the business, and you're just doing so much. You're wearing so many hats: your sales, your marketing, your operations, and your finance. And so collecting cash is something that you try and fit into your workload. And even for an office manager, it's very difficult to fit in with everything that's going on. And it's so common that it falls to the bottom of the queue, and then cash becomes a problem. So it's certainly a pain point. And then, the tools available to businesses today, the accounting apps, they go some way. They give you some control and options there, but they're really only 10% of an end-to-end credit control process. So it's no wonder people are looking around for better ways to do it. Now, looking at the finance teams, so the challenges here are a bit different. I've talked to a lot of finance teams lately. The business is growing, but the finance team is not growing, as in they can't hire extra FTE. And people are looking to technology to create efficiencies and find better ways to do things, to automate some of those manual tasks. The ERP systems, super powerful, in their breadth of functionality. I've not seen one that does a really elegant, beautiful job of collections. It's always results in spreadsheets and manual emails. You've got data all over the place. So it's a real challenge and real pain points that we're hearing from credit controllers and credit managers trying to grapple with this problem. But you have to, because in a growing business particularly, you need to have effective cash controls. You need to have some reliability about the cash coming in each month. And really, that's what CreditorWatch Collect is designed to do, is give you that predictable cash flow.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Matt. Definitely some real challenges being faced by small businesses and also busy finance teams alike. I guess in terms of a typical collections process, what does that look like without the use of something like CreditorWatch Collect?
Sure. So, if we look at an accounts receivable process today, they all look fairly similar. You're sending out an invoice, maybe a statement, and a lot of customers will pay when they receive that, which is great. But we know the reality of being in business, not everybody pays their accounts on time. And so, a lot of ERPs or accounting systems, you'll send out your first email reminders and they'll go out automatically. But there's just so many gaps. And so what we see, people export their aged trial balance or aged receivables out to a spreadsheet. And that's where the real work begins. And they start sending emails, making phone calls, adding notes, and the spreadsheet grows. And then next week, they somehow have to merge those spreadsheets together and then share them with the business. While spreadsheets are great, it's really the wrong tool for the job, especially when you're trying to scale this and create efficiencies. There's definitely a better way to get this job done. And we see that when people go on leave and you're trying to pick up where they left off in a spreadsheet or email, it's just really, really difficult. So there's definitely room for a better way or better process in this part of the business.
Yeah, great. That definitely paints a picture for us of the challenges being faced. Now, I think it's a good opportunity for us to ask another poll question, so please get involved, everyone. Just let us know if there are any challenges that you're facing at the moment with your collections process. So I'll give you a few minutes to respond to that one. It should come up shortly. too many debtors? Is it all very manual, high amounts in overdue? Or you don't necessarily have a product in place or a process in place for that. Cool, I think that's hopefully enough time. We'll move along. I guess in terms of moving forward, let's jump into some of the benefits of actually automating your collections process and improving collections. As you can see from the slide in front of us, research is showing some different numbers here. So about 72% of firms said that automation actually reduced their operating costs, which is, that's massive, 72%. 49% have said or reported improvements in collections by implementing a purpose-built software. And then also actually CreditWatch Collect users are collecting their overdue accounts about 14 days faster. So real improvements in cash flow and working capital by bringing that money back in the door faster. And as Pat really mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, automation is revolutionizing so many different business functions today. If you think about marketing automation, accounts payable automation, but why is it, do you think, Matt, that businesses have maybe been a little bit slower to adopt automation within accounts receivables and the collection space, despite some of these numbers that we're seeing in front of us and the stats we're seeing?
Yeah, it's a good question. This actually surprised me. I mean, as Pat said, we're talking to a lot of businesses every week. We're showing them through the product. And the thing that surprised me is people are generally not aware that there are better tools to run collections now. So I'm showing it to credit managers and credit controllers, and really the lights come on. They're like, wow, this is going to make my life so much easier, because previously they're thinking about Outlook and just using wrong tools for the job. So it's difficult. When we show them purpose-built software, they're like, wow, that's going to be a game changer. I also think, or we see spreadsheets are the status quo, especially in finance teams. They can solve any kind of problem, but they're a bit of a blunt instrument when it comes to credit control. The other thing we hear from credit controllers, especially, is about losing control. So you're going from something that you know today to something new technology, and that's always a little bit of a change process to go through. But the feedback we get is that people they feel more in control. And you'll see this when I show you the app, why that's true, why it outperforms a spreadsheet. You've got much greater visibility, and you've got these power tools at your fingertips to just take action at scale. And the last one is cost. Sometimes it's hard to justify an investment in software that's not a revenue generating piece of software. It's hard to justify that sometimes to the business, but what we see here is the efficiency gains, the cash that gets freed up, and even the acceleration of resolving customer disputes. Everything happens faster when you're using purpose-built software. So there is a really strong business case for this kind of software, and relatively it's not that expensive to other systems you might be buying for your business.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Matt. Back to some of the positive results, like the 14 days faster to collect, which is massive. What are some other results that our users have seen from CreditorWatch Collect so far?
Yeah, it's just huge. People go from an old archaic system to something new, automated like CreditorWatch Collect, and just everything changes. If you're struggling to get on top of your 90-day debtors, you can get those into shape. You can improve your cash flow. Like literally, it's the same week for a lot of our small business customers. And then long term for larger businesses, we see the debtor days number just coming down. So it's just transformational, just at the coalface.
Yeah, of course. Conscious of time, I want to get everyone to see the demonstration, see the product in action, and keen to get into an overview of that. But we do have a bit of a QR code, so if anyone does need to jump off, we'll bring that up shortly. But in terms of CreditorWatch Collect, we've given it a good summary. It's a purpose-built software to make automation and collections easy, so that you can get cash in the door faster. What makes it a great tool, and again, this is where we're bringing up that QR code. If you do need to jump off, feel free to scan that now, but keen to get into some of those fundamental key points of the solution.
Sure thing. So the areas that I'll focus on today, I mean, this product does quite a lot, but we'll focus on the core things that really transform collections. So you've got your workflows, that really is all about automation and streamlining your process, taking the right approach for each customer segment. Call queues have been massive just to organize who you need to call, who you need to call back, get out of your Outlook reminders. Risk scores are massive, so we're feeding through the risk data live from CreditorWatch, and that's just means you can prioritize your riskiest debtors and get onto them much quicker. And then the online payment portal is just a no-brainer, just to speed cash into your bank.
Lovely, thank you. Just bringing up that QR code one more time. Feel free to scan that. We can organise a personalised demo for you if you do want to see this one-on-one. Great way for us to better understand your business challenges at the moment, so we can arrange a time with you following the session. But now let's get into the fun part. Matt, I'm going to throw over to you so we can get into a live demonstration of CreditWatch Collect. So over to you. Thanks, Matt.
Excellent, thanks, Lucy. All right, so we're going to kick off on the dashboard of CreditWatch Collect, and I'm just going to point out a few things. So here we can see that the data was last imported an hour ago. So we have automated integrations with some of the accounting software. We can also receive data via CSV import or API. So there's a few ways to get your receivables in there. The dashboard will show you how your aging is performing, a good snapshot, your debtor days trend, your overdue ratio. So you're kind of getting a sense of how you're progressing with your collections. Down the right is the activity feed. And this is where you can see everything that's going on in the app. So you've got reminders that are being sent out via email, via SMS. You've got replies coming back in from customers. You've got notes being added by your team. Your credit controllers. You can capture disputes, payment dates. Everything happens and is captured in this one place, which is, it means you're not having to switch between a spreadsheet and your accounting software and your Outlook just to get up to speed. You've got a full account history, and I'll show you a bit more detail how that works in a moment. The core of the platform, though, is the workflows, and these are really powerful in terms of creating your end-to-end process. So I'll show you how these work. So I'll focus on these first four. So what we're doing here is creating a follow-up process from your first friendly reminders, then escalating through to stop credit or suspension, whatever that first escalation point is. Then, if needed, moving them on to final notices, demand letters, and then finally to third-party collections. So you can do it all. You can run the entire process from within CreditorWatch Collect. What you can also do is create some other processes. If you've got really large customers and you want to give them a higher touch process, maybe it's more phone calls, no SMS reminders, so you can put them through that particular workflow. You can also create other workflows to focus on your high risk accounts. So it's very, very flexible. It allows you to create a very structured, standardized process for your business. I'll dive into this first workflow so you can see how they're made up. You can send out reminders prior to the due date. So that's really a great way to be proactive. You can send a summary of the account, all of the invoices that make up that total. So it's really easy for your customer to make sure they've got everything ready to pay by the due date. Then your past due date reminders. So these will be coming from your email address. They'll have your logo, your company name. The goal here is, if you think about what you're currently doing manually from your own email, you can put that into CreditWatch Collect and automate it or bulk send it. It just gives you that scale and ease of use. And I'll show you what these reminders look like. So these things are really important. It needs to come from you, a name that they know. And here you can see we're sending a summary of the accounts. We're not sending reminders per invoice. It shows them exactly what's overdue and how much they need to pay. And when people move to this, I just get feedback over and over again that people get much more paid because they're reminding for the total balance. It's the same with the SMS reminders. You've got the total that's overdue. It's really clear what customers should be paying. Then what's very powerful from here is having the pay now button, and that takes customers through to the payment portal. They can choose what they want to pay or a specific amount, hit pay now, enter their credit card, and then the money lands in the bank. So it really streamlines the reminder to payment process. Now, your workflows are very flexible. You can add a mix of emails, phone calls, and SMS reminders. Now, the phone calls don't happen automatically. I'll show you, they get added to a queue, and I'll show you how that works shortly. If an account is not paid after receiving these first reminders, then that's where you've got your first escalation point. You can notify your credit controller, your credit manager. It allows everybody to stay in the loop about where things are at in the collections process. So that's workflows. There's more I could show you, but that's really the essence of creating that end-to-end process all the way through to third-party collections. You never drop the ball. It's very efficient and robust. Once your workflows are set up, you can see what the system is doing via the schedule. From here, you can pause and resume reminders. You can jump in and update that if you need to. There might be some manually triggered reminders for putting customers on stop credit, and you can see that you have some calls due as well. Now, when it comes to making the phone calls, this has been a game changer for so many businesses. So you've got a queue here, so you know on any given day who you should be calling. And it could be the first call that you've made for them. It could be a callback related to a promised payment date. I'll click into the history so you can see what it looks like. So this is the power of having everything in one place. You've got the reminders that have been sent out. You've got replies coming back from the customer. You've got the notes from the credit controller based on a conversation that I've had with the customer. Here they've logged an expected payment date, and then another email reply from the customer. So when you're on the phone, you've got everything in front of you to have a really good call and hold your customers accountable to their past promises. And then when it comes to logging the outcome of the call, it's very, very quick with these quick response tags. You can set your callbacks, be reminded to call back in a few days. It's the same with expected payment dates. You can log that in the system. You'll be prompted to follow up if they miss the payment. So it's really a revolution in terms of getting through more calls, having all the information at your fingertips when you're on a call. It just improves your confidence and your success rate when it comes to getting these calls done. The last area we'll look at today is the accounts view. So this really does replace the spreadsheet. It's your reporting, but it's also your working area where you can prioritize who you're going to follow up. You can see here that we're bringing through the credit rating from CreditWatch. So this allows you to not only prioritize accounts by their aging, but you can also factor in their risk score. So that means you can really coach your team or your credit controller to focus on the high risk accounts as a priority. You can even put them into a priority workflow, as you saw before. So while you can standardize the process, you can also jump in and prioritize certain accounts that you want to jump on the phone much quicker and get your cash. So that's really all I wanted to show you today on the platform. So hopefully that's given you a summary, but do book yourselves a personalized demo. We can talk about how it can solve your specific challenges.
Great, thanks so much, Matt. I hope everyone, you like what you see. We're really excited to have this solution available. We have had a few really great questions come through, although it doesn't look like we'll have time to answer them off today. We got a bit excited with the demo and everything else, but with those questions, we'll definitely come back to you as soon as possible after today and give you some really in-depth information in response to those questions, so not a worry there. But look, that's almost it from us today. We'll start to wrap things up. I'll ask one more poll question just to gauge whether you'd like to be contacted about a one-on-one demonstration, seeing the system in more depth. So I'll bring that up now. Let us know if you'd like to be contacted, yes, no, or you'd like more information, and I'll give you a few moments to respond to that one. Easy, I think that's probably enough time, but again, thanks so much everyone for jumping on today. Have a lovely day. We'll be in touch shortly if you have requested contact. Otherwise, Matt, if you've got nothing else to finish up with, let's jump off.
Thanks
so
everyone.
much. See you later.